Hello, adventurers. My name's Tyler.
And I'm Richard.
On today's episode, we're going to be diving into Daggerheart's updated classes and subclasses. Welcome to True Strike.
Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the show.
Howdy.
We're back again with some more Daggerheart content. This time, we're looking at the 1.3 updates to class features as well as subclass cards.
Yep.
So we're going to go through every single class in the game and talk about their independent class features, which makes their class what their class is, as well as covering the subclasses. Because now, in addition to the regular subclasses, we now have the essentially foundation subclasses, and then we have the specialization and mastery of each one.
Yep.
So to give you a little bit more detail on what that means, basically, once your character hits level 5 through 7, you have the option to now multi-class, which we knew, right? So multi-classing was a thing. But now we have these upgraded subclass cards. So starting at 5, you can choose to either multi-class or specialize in your subclass selection.
But why not both?
Because once you do one, you get rid of the other one.
That's it.
Yeah. So in 5 to 7, you have the option to then move from foundation to specialization. If you choose to specialize in your subclass, you cannot multi-class anymore. Levels 5 through 7. Multi-classing is off the table. If you do multi-classing during the levels of 5 to 7, subclass advancement is off the table. So you are no longer advancing your subclass past foundation. Once you hit levels 8 to 10, you get the option again. So this time around, same conundrum. You can upgrade your subclass. If you didn't do it the first time around, you're still at foundation.
Right.
And then you're going into the next level up, which is specialization. Or you can multi-class again. Again, when you choose one, the other one is off the table. So another hard choice, essentially, you get, again, at those levels, whether or not you want to multi-class or whether or not you want to lean further into the specialization of your subclass.
Yeah, and we'll see as we go through these. Maybe it won't be so hard. Maybe some of these masteries aren't that good.
Aren't
and
that
you
great.
won't even want them.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
So yeah, we're going to go through each class. We'll talk about the class features there, and then we will go over the subclasses.
Yep. And let's get things going because this might be a longer episode. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll just get through these.
Yeah.
But we promised in the last couple episodes that we would get through this stuff, so we shall.
We're doing it.
First off, and we're going to be going through these. They sent out the part of the file you could get is it was just like, hey, if you've already printed out all the cards and everything, don't worry, you don't got to print everything out again. You're just going to give you a file that lets you print out all the new and updated cards and stuff. So, and then you can mix that into your already printed decks and stuff.
Yeah.
So some of the organization is not alphabetical, and we decided to just go through it in the order that they listed it. So starting with the warrior.
At W's.
Yeah. We're looking at the class feature. Battle strategist. After a successful attack roll, you can describe how you outmaneuver your target. Then make a stress to deal them a stress. Sick.
Cool.
Stress for stress. Attack of opportunity. If an adversary attempts to leave your melee range, make a reaction roll against their difficulty. Choose one effect on a successful roll or two on a critical success, which I love.
Yeah.
Keep them from moving. Okay. Deal your primary weapon damage. Great. Move with them.
I love
which
the
is
move
my
with
favorite
them.
one.
Yeah.
You're like, where are we going?
Yeah. Where are we going? Where are you going?
You also have combat training. Ignore burden when equipping weapons. So sick. Whenever you roll damage, add extra physical damage equal to your level. Also, sick.
Yeah.
You want to be the up in everyone's face melee warrior? Well, there you go. Warrior. It's in the name. But let's get into some of these subclass cards. We're starting with the Call of Slayer Foundation. So the foundation card for the Call of Slayer is on a roll with hope. You can place a d6 on this card instead of taking a hope. These are known as your Slayer dice. You can store a number of Slayer dice equal to your proficiency, so up to that. When you make an attack roll or damage roll, you can spend any number of these Slayer dice, rolling them and adding their value to your total. That would be your attack roll or damage dice, not both in that turn or on that. At the end of your session, clear any remaining Slayer dice on this card and gain that many hope. So you're in for the night, you're in your session, just wipe that, but add that to your hope total. Great, love it. I've liked this before, I like it now. But if you choose to move into your specialization, you get the Call Slayer Specialization. You can wield multiple weapons with dangerous ease. When you make a successful attack roll, you can spend a hope to add 1 damage die from your secondary weapon to the damage. In addition, once per long rest, when you roll your Slayer dice, you can re-roll any ones once, taking the new result. Not crazy. Once
Still
per long rest.
Cool.
It's great. I love re-rolling any ones for, damage dice and stuff, but or Slayer dice in general. But once per long rest. It's something.
I like it.
Now, if you choose to go Mastery with your Call of the Slayer, you gain Martial Preparation. You've become an inspirational warrior to all who travel with you. You gain access to the Martial Preparation downtime move, not downtime action, to use this during a rest. Describe how you instruct them and train them with your party. Give yourself and each an ally a Slayer dice, which is a d6. Allies can spend your Slayer die to enhance their own weapon attack or damage rolls. Basically, you hit this mastery, and now your Slayer dice ability is just spread amongst the party.
Yeah, because it's training.
Sick.
And it's cool.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. This is just one of those, you took a class that was all hit hard, hit well, melee, and you added at the finish line, you added a little bit of role play.
I'm going to teach people
because I'm so dang inspirational. The other subclass is the Call of the Brave. The foundation card for Call of the Brave is that when you fail a roll with fear, you gain hope. Once per long rest before you attempt something incredibly dangerous or face off against a foe who clearly outmatches you, describe which rule you perform or preparation you make, then clear 2 stress and gain 2 hope. Sick.
I like the roleplay narrative of that.
Me too.
This is my ritual that I perform before I face off that gives me this bonus, which is really cool.
I love that. And then the other bit of just you're just always, well, I guess not always, because you succeed with fear, right?
Yeah.
You succeed with fear, you're not gaining anything. But if you fail with fear or succeed with hope or fail with hope, you're gaining hope.
Yeah, you're gaining hope.
So out of these 4 situations here, you're gaining hope.
Yeah.
Next specialization for Call of the Brave. You are vigilant in the face of mounting danger. While you have no more than 2 hit point slots unmarked, your hope die becomes a D20.
That's cool.
It's cool, but what does that do for your crit chance?
Oh, it does hurt your crit chance.
It does hurt your crit chance.
For sure. We've talked about this before. But it is really just a neat, to show how, how you're not going to quit.
Right. And, at that point, what matters more to you?
Yeah.
Big number or crit?
Yeah.
Guess it depends. Call of the Brave Mastery. Your unbending courage is a rallying point for your allies. Yet again, your allies looking up to you at your mastery. You can initiate a tag team roll 1 extra time per session. Additionally, when an ally initiates a tag team roll with you, they only need to spend 2 hope to do so instead of the 3.
That's cool.
Does this just make it, though, that every one of your teammates is going to want to initiate with you?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They're getting the same benefit.
Because they're getting the same,
and they're just all right, come on.
And it's cheaper to do,
and you're doing it twice.
Yeah.
It's just tag team left and right.
No. It's just a tag team fuel.
Yeah, so I know we got a lot to get through, but so far with these specializations and masteries, how do you feel?
I like it a lot. I like how they continue, and I hope we see this theme throughout, which I think we probably will, how it's building upon your foundation, which, saying that out loud, it makes perfect sense. But I do like it. I like how it's building upon it. So it's not like you're just getting more stuff, how it's actually doing what it's supposed to do, which is specialization and mastery in your chosen field, which is really great. How it just kind of like laser focuses you down to that point that you want to be at.
Yeah. And I know it was last episode, I believe, where I mentioned like, well, are we just going to get all the meta builds are going to be the multi-classing? And maybe they still will. But since you're locked out of one or the other by choosing a specialization, that gets interesting.
Yeah, I'm less likely to multi-class with the Foundation Specialization Mastery.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm less likely to multi-class because I want to see the mastery levels of some of these, especially in the classes that I want to build.
Question.
I like it.
If I multi-class level 5, can you then mastery your second class you pick or specialize later on?
Yeah, when you get to the next rung, basically.
When you get up to 8.
When you get up to 8, yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Sick.
But it's, you got to pick and choose. Yeah.
I'm never going to multi-class. I like the straight.
I can see multi-class.
I like the straight and narrow of just like, you're just getting better at what you do.
Yeah, I can see a multi-class, but I really like this idea of building upon specialization and mastery. So I'll probably go this route personally. But I don't know. We'll see when we actually get into practical play.
Could absolutely be the worst move here.
Yeah.
But you want to tackle Bard?
Yeah, so next we got Bard. Class feature for Bard is Rally. Once per session, when the GM brings an action tracker into play, describe how you rally the party as they head into the fray. Then give yourself and your allies a d6 rally die. Anyone can spend the rally die and roll it, adding the result to an action roll, a reaction roll, a damage roll, or clearing stress equal to the rally die result. Huge. That is huge. At the end of the session, all unspent rally dice are clear. The rally die you distribute increases to 1d8 at level 5. So this is the really cool version of Bardic Inspiration that it has a lot more use, I feel. I like it a lot. I like how you have to describe how you rally the party, and I like how it divvies up and everything that it can do. It can be used in all kinds of situations, especially clearing of stress, which is huge. We've talked about before.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to say like, because Bardic Inspiration in the other system for sure has it's not just a one-use pony either. It's got multi-use.
I don't know. I like this better.
But what matters more, right?
Yeah, I like this better. I like this. I think this is really, really cool. So for Bard, we have 2 subclasses. We have Wordsmith and Troubadour. So first off, we have Wordsmith. The foundation for Wordsmith is Spellcast of Presence. And you have the first ability, which is Heart of a Poet. When speaking to a person you're trying to impress, persuade, or offend, you can spend a hope to add a 1d4 to the action roll against them. So just using your words. The next thing you have is Rousing Speech. Once per long rest, you can use an action to give a heartfelt, inspiring speech. All allies that can hear you can clear a stress.
So good.
Very, very good. Then you specialize in Wordsmith to get your moving words can boost the morale of a group. Once per session, when you use your skills as a linguist to encourage or exhort an ally, you can do one of the following. Allow them to find a mundane object or tool that they need.
Sick.
Awesome. Help an ally without spending hope. So you can just help without using hope currency. Or give them an additional downtime move during their next rest. So this is even further using your word specialization to help out your group.
Ooh, all 3 of those.
All 3 of those are awesome.
All 3.
And now, if you get into the mastery form of Wordsmith, the rally die that you distribute increases to a D10. So your rally dice are now a D10. And remember, you can put this on all kinds of rolls or use it to clear the amount of stress that you roll on there. That's a lot. In addition, whenever you help an ally, if you narrate the moment as if you were writing a tale of their heroism in a memoir, you can roll 2 hope dice instead of 1, which is really, really cool. I love it. Again, leading into the whole narrative thing that I love, allows you to narrate your inspiration as a story.
And the way with help working now, where you're both rolling a hope die and they get to choose which one they pick, that's 3.
That's 3.
Hope die
really
being
cool.
rolled.
The next subclass we have is Troubadour. The foundation is spellcasting presence again. When you take this foundation, describe what instrument you're practiced in. You can use the action to perform each one of these songs once per long rest. You can play a relaxing song where you and any close allies heal 1 hit point. You can play an epic song where you make a close target temporarily vulnerable. You can play a heartbreaking song, which you and any close allies take a hope. So very cool, very simple. You have 3 songs you can play. Specialization in Troubadour. Your rallying songs also help steal the courage of those who listen. Anybody who receives a rally die from you via the rally ability can choose to either gain a hope or clear a stress. So in addition to getting that rally, you're also clearing hope or clearing a stress, or gaining a hope or clearing a stress. And then finally, we have the Mastery of Troubadour. Your craft rivals the greats, and your skill and creativity are unbounded. You may perform each of your foundation songs an additional time per long rest. So that is singing 6 songs, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I love it.
It's really good.
Yeah, this
I'm trying to tear it apart, and I'm like, it's like, because I look at your specialization, right? Like, anyone who receives a rally die from you via your hope rally ability choose to either gain or hope or clear stress. I'm like, okay, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Maybe it's a little basic, but then you realize that with your foundation, that each of these songs is once per rest, and then now you're mastering notes multiple times. Like, the utility of the Troubadour is really cool.
Yeah. With these three specializations and masteries and everything like that, and the class features, I think Bard is fast becoming one of my favorite classes.
It's very
in
good.
Daggerheart.
That's part of it too, is that the base class feature
of rally dice is amazing.
Just awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, you want to take us into Druid?
I guess I will, All right, so for Druids, your class feature is Wild Touch. You can perform harmless, subtle effects that involve nature at will. Example, like growing a flower rapidly, or summoning a slight gust of wind and starting a campfire. Druidcraft.
Yep.
Beast form. You can mark a stress to transform into a magical creature from the beast form list, equal to your level or lower. You lose the use of your equipment and domain cards, but gain the features, attack trait, and armor score of the creature. You can drop out of this form at any time, and when you mark your last hit point or your last stress, you got to manage both for this, this form automatically drops. The 2 subclasses for the Druid here, or we have the Warden of Elements and the Warden of Renewal. First, the foundation of the Warden of Elements is you gain the spellcast, use your spellcast instinct for these, but you have Elemental Incarnation. Mark a stress to embody an elemental spirit from the list below. The embodiment lasts until you take severe damage or until your next short rest. This feature can overlap with beast form. Fire. When an enemy in melee range deals damage to you, they take 1d10 magic damage. So good. Earth. You gain +1 to your armor score. Water. When you deal damage to an enemy in melee range, all other enemies within very close mark a stress. Air. You can hover, gaining advantage on agility rolls. Water, with stress being such a thing, like, you're making people vulnerable when they max out stress. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're really potentially dumping in stress to a bunch of people at once.
Yep.
That's very close, is not super far.
No.
The specialization of Warden of Elements is that once per short rest, while in Elemental Incarnation, you can assume an elemental aura matching your embodied element. The aura's effects apply within your close range, following you until an Elemental Incarnation ends. Fire! Whenever an enemy marks at least 1 hit point, they also mark a stress. Earth! Your allies gain +1 to their armor score. Sick. Water. After an enemy deals damage to you, you can mark a stress to move them anywhere within very close range. Air. When you or an ally take damage from an attack beyond melee range, reduce it by 1d8.
That's nuts.
The options, like, in this subclass, are so cool.
Yeah.
Mastery for the Warden of Elements. While in your elemental incarnation, you further embody the spirit and gain the following benefits. For 1 element. I don't know what I'm saying. Fire! Your proficiency increase +1 for attacks and spells that deal damage. Sweet. Earth. When you mark an armor slot, roll 1d6. On a roll of 5 or 6, clear an armor slot.
That's good.
Ooh, man. Water. When you are hit by an attack, you can mark a stress to make the attacker vulnerable. Air. Attack. Oh, so that's ranged, close, everything. That's just a attack.
Yeah, a attack, yeah.
Huh. Good, set him up, knock him down. Air. You gain +1 evasion and can fly.
Can fly, yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. I like how every single time your mastery, your specialization in your mastery is just building upon what your element does.
Yes, exactly.
It just further pushes you along in specific elemental incarnations to make all, and they're all cumulative, so they all stack on top of each other. They stack, so you just get better at fire incarnation and water and earth and air to where you're like embodying all of those things. It's really cool.
Right. Just as that example, fire. When enemy in melee range deals damage to you, they take 1d10 magic damage. Also, when enemy marks at least 1 hit point, they also mark a stress.
Yeah.
So if they get hit from the 1d10 and they mark a hit point, they also mark a stress.
Yeah.
And your proficiency increases by +1 for all attacks and spells that deal damage. All of 3 of those.
Just so
if you
cool.
were fire. Yeah. The other subclass, Warden of Renewal Foundation, spellcast is Instinct for this. You have the Clarity of Nature. Once per long rest, you may create a space of natural serenity around you. After spending a few minutes resting within the space, you can clear stress equal to your instinct trait, distributed as you choose between you and your allies. It's wonderful. Regeneration. Use an action and spend 3 hope to clear 1d4 hit points on a creature you are touching. Yes, you're using 3 hope.
That's a lot of
healing. Yeah. Even 1's awesome, but potentially 4.
Mm-hmm.
Average of what, 2, 3? Like, awesome. Warden of Renewal specialization is that you can now use regeneration on a creature within very close range instead of touch. Great.
Even better.
Even better. You also gain Warden's Protection. Once per long rest, you can use an action to magically repair armor outside of downtime. When you do, you or one ally in your close range can clear a number of armor slots equal to your instinct.
That is really good.
Everyone's going to need a druid.
Yeah, that is really good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at Rivet Bottom. A druid on your team right now with a mastery.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Warden of Renewal. That just means, like, be really nice to your druids, people. Warden of Renewal mastery is that your animal transformation embodies a healing guardian spirit. While you are in beast form, when an ally within close range marks 2 or more hit points, they can mark a stress. Oh, sorry. You can mark a stress to reduce the amount of hit points they mark by 1.
Yeah.
It's good. I worry, maybe, and granted, we're talking level 8 to 10, right?
Yeah.
So by now your total stress is probably more than the 6 that you start with. I was going to say you're already marking stress to transform into a beast form, and now you're marking stress for this too. I love that it's an option. I worry how much stress you're going to be absorbing, but maybe at this point this isn't an issue.
I think it's going to be a non-issue, and I think Warden of Renewal is really becoming fast the healer of your group.
That's what's interesting here.
Hardcore.
So you've got actual hit points healing, but you have armor healing.
Yeah.
too.
No, this is going to be a very good class for healing.
Just taking care of your party.
Yeah, taking care of your party. Yep.
Cool.
I like it a lot. All right. Next, we have the Guardian. Their class features start with Unstoppable. Once per long rest, you become unstoppable. Your unstoppable die begins as a D4, and you place it right here on your character sheet, starting with the die's highest value facing up. While unstoppable, you gain resistance to physical damage, gain an additional D6 to any damage rolls you make, or add the current value of the unstoppable die to your armor score, cannot be restrained or vulnerable.
Love it.
Anytime you roll your damage die, reduce the unstoppable die value by 1. When you would reduce the value below 1 or the scene ends, remove it and drop out of unstoppable. At level 3, upgrade your unstoppable die to a D6. At level 7, upgrade it to a D8.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really cool. It's kind of like a countdown
Yeah.
that you have that makes you just like a
Unstoppable.
juggernaut. Yeah, you're a juggernaut while your countdown is going.
I'm glad that the die for it just keeps going up.
Yeah, it just keeps going up. Yeah. Now for subclasses, We have the Stalwart, and we have the Vengeance. Starting with Stalwart in your foundation. When you take this foundation, increase all your damage thresholds by 2. That's great, especially with the new revamp on thresholds.
I was going to say that means immediately.
Yeah.
You could potentially take nothing.
Nothing, yep. When you take physical damage, you can mark a stress instead of an armor slot to reduce the damage by your armor score. So now you're pumping stress and armor to reduce stuff. Really, really cool. The specialization for Stalwart is when you take this specialization, raise all of your damage thresholds by 2 again. So now you're raising them all by 2 again. When an ally within very close range takes damage, you can mark an armor slot to reduce the damage by your armor score. So again, more jumping out in front and just taking that damage.
Yeah.
Mastery of Stalwart. When you take this mastery, raise all of your damage thresholds by 2. So at this point, you have raised all your damage thresholds by 6.
Right.
Total.
Which would leave you with a minor just on this of 7.
Which is nuts.
So anything below 7 is no damage.
Nothing. Lastly, when an ally within close range has 2 hit points or fewer and takes damage, you can immediately mark a stress point to their side and take the damage instead. So this is just you taking that damage away from them. Really, really cool. I really like how simple and straightforward this whole subclass is.
Yeah, this reminds me of like your what's the one I'm looking for? Your champion fighter from D&D, where like you do things very well. Full stop.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
The next thing we have is Vengeance. The foundation of Vengeance is when you take this foundation, gain an additional armor slot immediately. When you're hit by an enemy in melee range, you mark at least 1 armor slot to reduce the damage. Immediately roll a number of d6 equal to the number of armor slots you have marked and deal the enemy that much physical damage. So you're just pumping it right back out towards them.
Okay.
The specialization of Vengeance is when an enemy damages an ally within your melee range, your next successful attack you make against that enemy has a +1 proficiency. So you just really want to get revenge. The Mastery of Vengeance is you spend 2 hope to prioritize an enemy until your next rest. When you make an attack roll against your prioritized enemy, you can switch the values of your hope and fear dice. You may only prioritize one enemy at a time, but super fun. You can just switch your dice to make sure you're hitting with hope.
I really like this.
Very cool.
I don't like it as much as Stalwart.
No, it's Stalwart is more my speed. I like Stalwart a lot more, but I can see the value in Vengeance.
For sure.
I do see it, but if it was me, I'm going Stalwart.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. Ranger. Ranger's Focus is the class feature here. Spend hope and make an attack with your weapon. Okay. On a success, you temporarily put your Ranger's Focus on the target along with doing damage from the attack while they are in your focus. So you do your damage and then your focus abilities. You know precisely what direction they're in. All damage rolls you make against them also deal stress. On a missed attack you make against them, you may end Ranger's Focus to re-roll your duality dice and take the new result. So you're dropping that focus, but you're getting another chance at hitting them.
Yeah.
Great. You may only hold a Ranger's Focus on one creature at a time. So our subclasses here, we're looking at Wayfinder or Beastbound. First, for the foundation of Wayfinder, your spellcast is going to be Agility for this. Apex Predator. Mark a stress to increase your proficiency by 1 on a damage roll. Additionally, whenever you deal severe damage to an enemy, they also mark a stress. Or Path Forward. When you're headed for a place you've previously visited, or you carry an object with you that has been there before, you can identify the shortest, most direct path to your destination. So you get both those things for Wayfinder Foundation. The specialization of Wayfinder is that when you're attacked by your focus, so the creature you are focused on, your evasion against the attack increases by 2. Cool. Wayfinder Mastery. Before you make an attack roll against your focus, you can spend a hope. If you roll, if that roll succeeds, you remove 1 fear from the GM's fear pool.
I love it.
I love it. This feels weak. All 3 of these
I can see
fine.
Yeah, they seem fine, especially when you compare it to some of the other classes.
That's the issue.
It doesn't seem as powerful, but
'Cause-
I do like GM control.
For sure.
It's
Yeah.
fun. Would I pick this one? No. I'm going to go with the one you're about to read.
It's the thing, like, it's the mastery, right? I almost wish it was if you succeed on the attack, you remove a fear, but maybe that's too powerful. You have to spend a hope to remove it. You're getting the hope. If you rolled with hope on the attack, nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if any changes happen to it. Maybe I'm cynical. Beastbound Foundation Spellcast Agility. You have an animal companion of your choice at, the GM's discretion. They always stay next to you unless you tell them otherwise. Take the Ranger Companion sheet. Whenever you level up your character, also choose a level up option for your companion from this sheet. Woo! The specialization of Beastbound. When you take the specialization, gain an additional level up option for your companion immediately. When an enemy attacks you while they're in your companion's melee range, you gain a +2 evasion against the attack. Great, especially since your companion's always next to you unless you tell them to leave. Your mastery of Beastbound, though, is that when you take this specialization, gain 2 level up options for your companion immediately, once per long rest. If the damage from an attack would mark your companion or your last hit point, and you are within each other's close range, the other rushes into the side and takes that damage instead. That's cute.
Yeah.
That one's fun.
This one's more up my alley. I think
Absolutely.
Beastbound is way better than Wayfinder. And then you also have the Ranger Companion sheet, which is really cool, which just has its own separate level ups, which are basically training for your beast, which I like a lot.
So and maybe one day we'll actually dive into the Ranger a little bit and we'll go over some of this like Ranger special character stuff. But legit, whole other sheet.
Yeah, whole other sheet. Yeah, some of these classes do like druids with their animal forms, rangers with their beasts. Are a little bit more complex than some of these other classes, so probably merit a little bit of a deep dive.
It's dang nature classes,
Dang nature classes.
All right, you want to hit Rogue?
Yeah, next thing we have is Rogue. So our class features with Rogue are Hide. When you move into a location where no enemies can see you, you can mark a stress to become hidden. Any roll against you is at a disadvantage. As a rogue, when you are hidden, targets also can't see you, even if they move into line of sight. You are no longer hidden after you move or attack. When you leave hidden to make an attack, the roll has advantage. Love it.
So basically, if you successfully become hidden, you are hidden.
You are hidden, yeah.
There's no like...
Yep. Even if they move into line of sight, you're still hidden.
Great.
The next thing you have is sneak attack. Whenever you have advantage on an attack, so when you are attacking from your hidden spot, or an ally is within melee range of your target, add a 1d6 to your damage roll. When you use sneak attack, you may also spend any number of hope before the attack roll, and if it is successful, also add a number of d6 equal to the hope spent. That is amazing.
Love it.
Because you can just pump that full of hope.
Rogue is super neat, and especially with this 1.3, I think it's gotten even better, especially with the hide. Specifically, like when you leave hidden to make an attack, your roll has advantage, and that being a rogue specific thing now.
Yeah.
Like no one else gains advantage while hidden for the attack. Great, cool. Rogue identity solidified.
Yep. So for our subclasses, we have Syndicate and Nightwalker. The Syndicate Foundation, your spellcast is Finesse. When you arrive in a heavily populated town or city, you know somebody that calls this place home. Give them a name, note how you think they could be helpful, and then choose one of the following from the list below. They owe me a favor, but they will be hard to find. They're going to ask for something in exchange. They're always in a great deal of trouble. We used to be together. It's a long story, and we didn't part on great terms. I loved this one from the beginning, and I still love it. I love the role play of this.
I love that this is a cool, like, hey, GM, heads up, this is a thing.
This is a thing.
I'm going to tell you which one it is.
Yeah.
Run with that, but you don't get to pick from this list.
Yeah.
I'm picking
from this list. Yeah. And I love how narrative it is.
Absolutely.
And then we get into the specialization of the Syndicate. Once per session, you can briefly call forth a shady contact. Immediately choose one of the benefits below and describe what brought them here to help you in this moment. The first is they provide you with one handful of gold, a unique tool, or a mundane object that the situation requires. The next one is the next time you make an action roll, their help lets you increase either your hope or fear die result by 3.
Ooh.
And then the next is the next time you deal damage, they snipe from the shadows, adding 2d8 damage to your roll.
So good.
I love all of these, especially the one that they just show up with a mundane, object,
just a tool
or
something.
a tool that you need. Yeah, it's just really, really cool.
I like the next time you make an action roll, their help lets you increase either your hope or fear result.
Oh, that's amazing too.
Because you get to pick which means, guess what? There's a chance you're about to make this a crit.
Yeah, you're gonna make it a crit.
Like, it's a difference of 3. Guess what?
Super
You
cool.
did it.
And then we have our Mastery of Syndicate. You can now use your specialization feature 3 times per session, so that you can call upon that person 3 times. You can also choose from the following options when you use it. First, when you mark at least 1 hit point, the contact rushes out to shield you, reducing that by 1. Or when you make a presence roll in a conversation, they back you up. Your hope die becomes a d20 for that roll. So you get your own personal hype man 3 times a session.
So from the GM's standpoint,
yeah,
this is huge because you straight up just have a character now, right?
Yeah,
like the rogue is forcing an NPC into the game.
Yes,
you have to.
That you have to abide by.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
That you're abiding by. Because I could be
going to reoccur.
Yeah, I could be in the tavern and I walk up and I strong arm the barkeep behind the thing, and then before I do that, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, from the corner, you hear my boy Brutus, and he goes out like, yeah, you got this. I'm bet you got this. And then I get a D20 on my hope die because my hype man, he's always here. Well, he's always here 3 times a session.
Yeah, now he's here 3 times a session. It was once.
So yeah, Syndicate.
So cool.
Awesome. Love it. Next thing we have Nightwalker. So the foundation for Nightwalker is Spellcast Finesse. First ability is Shadow Stepper. You can move from the shadow to shadow. When you step into a shadow cast by another creature or object, or into an area of darkness, mark a stress to disappear from where you are and reappear inside any other shadow within far range. Awesome little ability. Next, we have Specialization, which is Dark Cloud. Make a spellcast roll of 15. On a success, create a temporary dark cloud that covers any area within close range. Anyone in this cloud can't see outside of it. Anyone outside of it can't see in it. You are considered hidden from any enemy it blocks line of sight from. Even better. Then you also get Adrenaline. When you are vulnerable, you always add your level to your damage roll total. Just a neat little thing.
So good. Just the idea of like you're fully stressed, right? You are vulnerable, but your damage is
going
really
up
go up
because you're backed into a corner.
Freaking cool. Rogues are so good in this game, man.
Then we have our Mastery. Your evasion permanently increases by 1, and you can now use Shadow Stepper to move very far range. So you have higher evasion and you can go even further. Last ability is Cloaked. At any time, you can mark a stress to cloak yourself. While cloaked, you gain the benefits of hidden condition and automatically lose the restrained condition if you have it. You stop being cloaked when you roll with fear or start a short rest.
It's so good.
So good.
So far, Rogue has been the one where I'm like, I'm going to have a tough choice choosing between subclasses because
they're so good.
And I want to bring them both to Mastery.
Oh yeah.
Which means like I'm fully committed once this game is started. Like what I'm playing, I am a rogue. I'm not multi-classing Rogue. I want to get Mastery.
If you see me have a Rogue on the table, expect a Syndicate Master.
I was gonna say, so
Syndicate Mastery all the way.
I'm leaning towards Syndicate
all the way,
but depending on your party comp, Nightwalker.
Oh, Nightwalker is amazing for damage output and just moving around. But Syndicate is just so fun.
I was so enthralled with your Rogue, I forgot I have to prep my next thing because I have to talk about. This is going to directly affect you, my friend.
Oh yes, yeah.
This is talk about
directly affecting.
Rivet Bottom's trash now. We got to start him over.
We got to start over.
So the class feature for Seraph is your prayer dice. At the beginning of each session, roll a number of D4 dice equal to your spellcast trait and store them to the right. There are 6 little spots to put them on your character sheet. Outside of that, you can spend 1 or more of these dice at any time to aid yourself or an ally within far range, which is awesome. You can use the spent dice value to reduce any incoming damage. add to any roll result after the roll, which chef's kiss, or exchange for that many hope you may give to any player. Just clear these dice at the end of each session.
Love it.
Wow. That's just your base class feature. And I know we kind of glossed over this a little bit.
Yeah, we glossed over it, yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah, it's such a really cool little ability. It could have been
any of those options alone, and it would have been awesome. Ugh, so good. All right. So your subclasses here are the Winged Sentinel or the Divine Wielder. Starting with the Winged Sentinel. Foundation, Spellcast, Strength. Spend a hope to take flight for a number of minutes equal to your level. While flying, your weapon attacks deal an extra 1d8. You can spend an additional hope to pick up and carry another another creature that is approximately your size or smaller. Great.
Cool.
Winged Sentinel. Your supernatural visage strikes awe and fear. While in flight, so doubling on that flight. While in flight, you have advantage on presence rolls, and if you succeed on any of them with hope, you can remove a fear from the GM's fear pool instead of gaining hope.
Yeah.
You love this.
I love it. GM denial.
You hate me.
I love it. I want to punish my GM.
So, I don't know why we're friends. Winged Sentinel Mastery. When you take this mastery, increase your severe damage threshold by 4. I almost smacked the table. That's bad for audio. Imagine me smacking the table loudly. While in flight, your Winged Sentinel Foundation features deal an extra 1d12 instead of a d8. Awesome.
Yeah, this is really cool. It makes Winged Sentinel way more appealing.
And it's funny because that second bit,
before,
right?
Yeah.
Like it's a d12 instead of a d8. That alone, I would have been like, okay, it's a little weak. But the fact that your severe damage threshold's going up by 4.
By 4.
Love
Huge.
It. All right, Divine Wielder. Foundation, Spellcast, Strength. Your foundation for this. Spirit Weapon. When you have a melee weapon equipped, it can fly from your hand to strike an enemy in close range and return to you. Millionaire style. You can mark a stress to target an additional enemy within range with the same attack roll. Still awesome. Love it still. Sparring Touch. Once per long rest, you can use an action and touch a creature to clear 2 points of hit point or 2 stress from them. So good. Just you're here for the weapon, right?
Yeah.
You're here to throw and recall. Just the bonus little like boop. Awesome. Divine Wielder. When you take this specialization, gain an armor slot. Sick. Your Sparing Touch can now be used 1 additional time per long rest.
That's cool.
Great. And because this is the way you went with Riverbottom,
yep,
correct?
This is why I went, yeah.
So right now you're looking at, you've got this, and then boom, there you go. Extra armor slot, which is going to be big for you.
Yeah, huge for me.
And then
the Sparing Touch. I was already there for the Sparing Touch the first time.
Yeah.
Now I get it twice.
Again. Mastery. When you roll damage for your spirit weapon, if any of your damage dice match value, you can roll an additional damage dice for each match.
That's cool.
These additional damage dice can't be used to match and add more dice. I
was waiting for that not to be there, and I was all like, huh?
It goes forever.
Okay, they got it.
No, it should go forever. For example, if you roll 3 5s, add 2 damage dice to your roll.
I like it. I think that they definitely made Winged Sentinel more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Before, it was just the kind of flight thing was neat. But now I see where it goes,
yes.
And it seems, there's a point to it, and it seems, it's a good route to take now.
That threshold by 4 is so good.
That's nuts.
All right.
Next, we have the Wizard.
Yep, you're the Wiz Kid.
Class features for the Wizard. First is Prestidigitation. You can perform harmless, subtle magic effects at will. For example, you might change an object's color, create a smell, light a candle, cause a tiny object to float, illuminate a room, or repair a small object.
Basically Druidcraft.
Druidcraft, but cooler because it's not plants. I like it.
You nerd.
I like Prestidigitation. I think it's really, really cool.
It's great.
Next thing is Strange Patterns. Choose a number between 1 and 12. Whenever you roll that number on a duality dice, gain a hope or clear a stress. You can change this number when you finish a long rest. I love this ability.
That there's a spot in your character sheet to write
for you to
down
write
your
a number. I love it.
And then you're like, you know what? I'm not feeling 4
I'm not feeling 4 today. Today's a 7.
Yeah.
Today's a 7 or today's an 11. I love it. It's such a weird ability. It's my favorite thing. All right. So for our subclasses, we have the School of Knowledge and the School of War. The foundation for School of Knowledge, your spellcast is your knowledge attribute.
And by the way, how ironic, because your spellcast is knowledge for both of these.
Yes.
Though this is the School of Knowledge.
It's the School of Knowledge.
Okay, carry on.
You've gained priceless knowledge throughout great study. You have advantage on all knowledge rolls to recall information. If this roll is about the magical nature of a creature or an enchantment, gain a hope, even on a roll with fear. So that's
Sweet.
really cool. You also get the ability of Adept. You can mark a stress instead of spending a hope to use an experience on a roll. If you do, double the experience modifier for that roll. That's cool.
Love it.
I like it a lot. The specialization of School of Knowledge is when you take the specialization, you may change an existing experience you have and then add a +1 to one of your experiences. So you can just change out one of your experiences with a new experience. Once per short rest, when recalling a domain card in your vault, you can reduce its recall cost by 1. That's cool. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And the mastery of the School of Knowledge is when you take this mastery, choose 2 experiences and add a +1 to each of them. I like how they're building on this whole year. Experiences are a big part of what you do. Whenever you wish to use an experience, roll a d6 on a result of 5 or 6. You can do so without spending a hope. Again, doubling down on the learning of experiences and the usage of experiences to further your rolls.
I was gonna say this entire subclass is just like I really gotta make sure you're making some good experiences.
Yes, making good experiences and recalling them all the time.
Yep, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, you're building on your experiences.
Mm-hmm. Which, to be fair, as a roleplay,
it's really, really cool. Yeah. Next thing we have is the School of War. The foundation is spellcasting knowledge again. You focus your studies on shaping magic in a dangerous and powerful ways. Gain an extra armor slot. So right off the jump, you gain extra armor. So you're a war wizard.
Yep, war wizard.
When you succeed on an attack roll with fear, you deal an extra 1d10 magic damage. That's cool.
Here's your fear die, DM.
Yes, but I'm dealing more. Specialization, so you can concentrate to maintain a protective barrier of magic. While you have at least 2 hope, you can add your special spellcast trait to your evasion. That's really cool. So it's making it harder to hit you. Additionally, the extra magic damage from your School of War Foundation feature increases to 2d10. Yeah. So when you're rolling with fear now, you're dealing 2d10 damage. The mastery of School of War is when you succeed on an attack roll with hope, you can choose to make it with fear instead.
God. This is like, oh, good. Oh, thank God. He rolled it with hope. Here, just take your...
Like, nope. I am terrified.
I'm having a bad day.
I'm having a really bad day.
But so are you.
In addition, the extra magic damage from your School of War Foundation increases to 3d10. So now you're rolling an extra 3d10 damage when you choose to have fear.
This is terrible as the GM, right? Because you're like, you're supposed to be the afraid, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is bad for you, right? Right?
No.
Take my fear die. Fear token.
It's just a funny little class. Yeah.
Funny little class.
I love it.
Yeah.
I keep going back to that. The lucky number, the strange patterns. It's just so cool.
So good.
It's just so funny.
See, so that one, thematically, it fits really well with this knowledge subclass for me, right? And that all builds this really cohesive thing. The War Wizard, the School of War, it feels like I'm on my 4th, 5th character, and I just want to mess with the GM.
Yeah.
Because I'm just here to ruin
It's just a funny little guy. I like it.
Funny little class. All right. Well, are we at the last one?
We're at the last one. Sorcerer.
All right. Well, let me take this real quick. Sorcerer. Class feature. Arcane Sense. You can sense the presence of magical people and objects that when you're close to them. Cool.
That's cool.
No spellcast nature or anything.
Yeah,
you just
sense them.
scan it, you know it. Minor illusion. Make a spellcast roll in your turn. On a success of getting at least that 10, you create a minor visual illusion no larger than yourself within close range. The illusion is convincing to anyone in far range or further. So maybe it's a little blurry, but if they're at least far or farther.
Is that a rabbit?
It's pretty convincing. It's a pretty big channel raw power. Once per long rest, you can place a domain card from your loadout into your vault and choose to either gain hope equal to the level of the card, interesting, or enhance a damage dealing spell by dealing extra magic damage equal to twice the level of the card.
That's cool.
During your next short rest, you can return this card to your hand without paying its recall cost. So you are just I'm going to put this away for later.
Make it fuel.
Make it churning a domain card into gasoline.
Yeah. Yep.
For
Making
your
it fuel.
engine. Our subclasses here are Primal Origin or Elemental Origin. So starting with the foundation of Primal Origin, your spellcast for this is going to be Instinct. Your Primal Origin allows you to modify the essence of magic itself. After you cast a spell or use a weapon that deals magic damage, you may mark a stress to do any of the following. So you mark a stress, and then you can either extend its reach by 1 range. Sick. That'll come in handy more often than I think people realize. Add 2 to the action roll result. Sick. Reroll any number of damage dice. Any number, not all. Sick. Hit an additional target within range.
God,
sick.
It's all really good.
You just use a stress, and all 4 of these are awesome.
Yeah.
There's
no bad
gonna be
options
marking
here.
stress
Yeah.
all the time. And that's just your foundation. Specialization. You can call forth your chosen element to protect you from harm. When an attack roll against you succeeds, you can spend a stress and describe how you channel your element to defend you. Then add 1d6 to your evasion against the attack. If the new evasion is high enough to avoid the attack, it does.
Yeah.
So this is, you already know the attack's gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Then you can mark this knowing how much higher you'd have to roll to avoid it. Love it. Yet again, burn through stress.
Yeah.
Mastery. Once per long rest, you can transform into an elemental form of your chosen element. When you do, describe your transformation and choose 2 of the following benefits you gain until your next short rest. A, +4 to your severe threshold.
Oof.
A, +1 to character trait or choice. +1 to proficiency. +2 to your armor score, or +2 to your evasion.
That's wild.
Uh-huh. Very good. Yeah.
I like it.
I don't see any issues with this subclass off the jump. So if you guys notice any, please sure to let us know. Elemental Origin, though. The foundation for that spellcast is Instinct. Your Elemental Origin lets you manipulate and shape a certain kind of element. Choose one. You have water, fire, air, lightning, and earth. But only the Avatar can master all 5 elements. You, however, can channel this one element into unique, harmless effects. Additionally, you can spend a hope and describe how your control over this element helps an action roll you're about to make. Then add either a +2 to the roll or +3 to the damage. The specialization of the Primal Origin. Whoa. They were mixed. That's why it got weird.
What do you mean?
Hello, guys. We're making this live. It's Primal Origin, Elemental. Elemental, Primal.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it seemed weird. I was like, I never picked an element. But now it makes sense. Okay. So, let's fix this right now. The Elemental Origin, the thing I just read, where you pick out the element, that then ties to the specialization and mastery I just read, which involved having your element.
Having your element, yeah.
It all makes more sense now.
Yeah, no, it does make more sense.
You call forth the chosen element to protect you from harm from your chosen element, blah, 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 blah. And then you get the thing returned into your element. Now, if we go back, that first foundation for Primal Origin was that the Primal Origin allows you to modify the essence of magic itself, blah, blah, blah. You extend its reach by 1 range, add 2 to the action roll, reroll the number of damage dice, or hit an additional target within range. That then goes to the specialization of you can enhance the magical practices of others within your essence. When you help an ally on a spellcast roll, you can spend an extra hope to reroll or roll a d20 as your hope die. And then the mastery of Primal Origin is that you can gather magical energy to enhance your capability. You become charged after taking magic damage or when you spend 2 hope to become charged. When you successfully cast magic while charged, you can spend your charge to temporarily increase either that spell damage proficiency by 1 or reaction roll difficulty by 3. That one's fun. You stop being charged when you finish a long rest.
Okay. Yeah, so that tracks better with the primal origins,
Yes.
whereas the elements actually fit with the elemental origin.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you're
funny how it all
choosing your
ma-
element. Yeah.
It's funny how it all makes sense when they're actually
Yeah.
together.
So basically what happened here is in their updated cards, when they put their cards in the PDF, they accidentally switched the spot for the specialization and mastery of the primals and the elements. So they just have them in the wrong space in the PDF document. So you'll have to, if you're not printing these cards, if you're printing them, it'll be easy to put them in the right order.
Yeah,
but if
'cause you'll
you're
just be
not
cutting them
printing
out
them, if
anyway.
you're looking them in the PDF, you'll just have to make sure to line them
From
up
left
properly.
to right.
Yeah.
When you get all the way to the end, you're at the finish line, and you get all the way to Sorcerer. They're a little mixed matched.
Yeah, they're a little mixed.
So just, actually read it all the way through.
But this is the first time this has happened. So
Yeah.
the rest of the document was lined up correctly.
So whoops. Sorry guys.
No, I really like the elemental.
That's where I was about
is
to
really
get to.
cool. Yeah,
The elemental origin is amazing, and
Yeah.
the primal seems fine.
the primal seems fine, but I really like the elemental.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the elemental origin out of this one just because it's got a lot of cool little like side utility, especially the first foundations. We talked about this once before, how you can use the unique harmless effects and what that could possibly be.
Yeah.
And that could be anything from like wind in a sail to movement of water or, like movement of earth. So a lot of cool little abilities like that.
So, but that is our changes to classes and the new specializations and masteries and stuff.
Yeah. Overall, I really, really like where all these classes are heading.
Yes.
And some of these classes are, with the changes to the class features and the specialization and masteries, I see more value in classes that I didn't previously.
And that's interesting because it's something that I adore now that I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have an issue with it before.
No, I didn't have an issue with some of these classes before, but like I said, now I see the value in some of them
Yes.
more, and some of them are even more appealing. Like
Right.
now, bards and rogues are like so high on my list. Like
what was it?
the warrior's really good.
Warrior's good. It's like you said, I think rogue really
syndicate rogues are like next level for me
Guardian,
right now. I'm
amazing.
loving it. Yeah. I'm hyped for playing a bard and a rogue now. Specifically the rogue. That syndicate has so much.
It's all rogues. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, that syndicate has so much value in role play for me now, and it's great. And also, I like to see druid becoming a more specialized healer. So now it's not just the seraph. Yeah, now we have druids really showing up as a really performer as far as class support is considered, which is really, really cool.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
So we've got, all right. So we're working our way through these changes and stuff, right? We still got equipment we got to get through.
We still got to get through equipment.
Environments.
Yeah, we want to get through environments.
And then we got to go through at some point. We got to re-record our level 1 domain cards episode.
Yeah. So the domains that we did, at least 10 level 1 domain cards got revisions and changes.
So there's no point in us putting up that episode.
Yeah, that episode that we recorded is
washed.
just not going to be good because 10 cards are obsolete, and then we talk about the way domain shifting works.
Yep.
And all that changed.
Now it's an action.
Yeah. So we're going to have to come back to that one as well.
Redo that one.
So yeah, we're going to hit that again. But if there's anything else that we haven't hit that you are interested in, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even that episode we had asked like, hey, we're going to cover, all the level 1 domain cards because it's 3 per like domain and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's a decent bit.
Mm-hmm.
But towards the end of that episode, we actually asked, not that you'll ever hear it, do you want us to cover all the domain cards?
The higher levels.
Do you want to see the higher level domain cards for everything? So if you do, if you've listened to this far and that's something you're interested in, if you want to let us know now, if you say, yeah, sweet, we'll go ahead and put that in the pipeline that we'll cover all the higher level ones too. If you don't, the level 1 episode is still going to happen. You can't shut that down.
Yeah.
We want to cover it. We've already done it once. We're gonna
do it again.
We're gonna do it again. But if you do want to, see these higher level ones, just let us know now, and then we'll go ahead and get that rolling.
Sounds good.
For now, thank you everyone for watching. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate the subscription and the like and the comments. You guys are the best. If you are on any of the audio podcast formats, Spotify, there's always Q&A and polls and stuff if you want to get in there. You can talk to us there as well. If you are on Apple Podcasts, hi, we see you guys. We appreciate your 5 stars. It is the best, and we love you all. But for now, I have been Tyler.
And I have been Richard.
And we have been
True
Strike. Bye.
Goodbye.
Hey, adventurers. Thanks again for joining us today. Please be sure to give us a follow on your favorite podcasting platforms and YouTube. If there's any questions you'd like to write into the show, you can hit us up on X, Threads, or Instagram. New episodes released every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for listening to True Strike.